I convene the November 19th, 2025 regular board meeting to order at 7 p.m. Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swisbeck.
Here.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Debbie Bryan.
Here.
Josh Martin. Absent. Karen Larson.
Here.
Laura Paley.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2 is opportunity for visitors to speak. Public comment is for the general public to address the board. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to provide public comment. Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item number 3, which acknowledges that Vice President Berry and Treasurer Bryant reviewed the October billings in November, and Trustee Larson and Trustee Paley will review the November billings in December. So I will contact you. So
Yes,
we can
that would be
do
great.
that together. All right. Item number 4 is the consent agenda. Is there a trustee who wishes to pull something from the consent agenda? If not, may I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of October 15th, 2025 board meeting, acknowledgement of the October 31st, 2025 treasurer's report, investment activity report, current assets report, revenue report, expense report, and the authorization of the November 19th, 25 payment of bills.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swisbeck.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Laura Paley.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 5 is unfinished business related to capital improvement projects. 5A1 includes an update on the BAS project. 5A2 includes a presentation of Tara's deliverables and an action item to request a proposal for the design and construction administration of the LLD Nature Trail. Mark, would you please walk us through the updates, and then the board will vote on the action item after Tara's presentation.
Sure, and I'll start with the least fun of all of them, the BAS updates, which are monthly updates at this point in time. We are trying to get them closed out. They came in a week and a half ago roughly for what we'll call training. That's what they intended to come in for. Will and I sat down with them and really walked through screen by screen and asked some questions on things that we knew were having some issues, and ended up with a list of around 24 significant items that were not working correctly in the building automation system. Since that time, we found actually a few more that we added to the list. That was on the 13th, and they have been responsive, I will say. So I think they've realized they've had some issues. The guy they sent out for training was a different person than they've sent out routinely for a lot of the work. I think he's been here once or twice before that, but really wasn't involved. I think he understood the issues that were being seen and is working to address them. He's actually been back here, Will told me today, the past 3 days this week, all day. So they're not walking away, they are trying to get it done. I think we just keep on making sure that they understand that this list has to get completed before we're done with this project. But good news is it's getting addressed. I don't know if the comfort as a whole has been improved the past couple of days. We're going to get cold here as we get going, and we'll have to monitor it. And there were literally days here where there was 80 degrees in certain areas of the building when it should have been in cooling almost. So, any questions on that before I move on to the fun stuff? And actually, HVAC's good news. We had to call for one more final inspection that was just lagging out there. That inspection was handled. It's done, basically, the short story. So that project is essentially closed out. I will take it off the list for upcoming months. Beyond that, I'll turn it over to Sarah and the Tara group for the nature trail.
Yeah, so Tara is here today to do a presentation on the final concept design, which is a reflection of a final design based on feedback that we got a few months ago in middle stages of the project. So Tara, if you guys want to go ahead.
Okay. We don't have a.
Do you want to talk to
Yeah.
these?
You just want to talk to this?
Four, yeah, roughly 4 pages or so.
Okay.
We'll also come back and kind of cover schedule, high level, and budget, and how it reflects this.
Okay, thank you.
So first page is really just the cover sheet. It just kind of shows the lot that we have that we're working with. Sorry, again, my name is Craig Most, Tara. We met last time. Took in your guys' input and refined the plan into, I think we have multiple plans. We refined it into a singular plan. And so this is the outcome of that. So this concept takes the walk across directly from the south entrance across the parking lot. We're taking out 3 parking stalls, providing this direct crosswalk access. Right across the crosswalk, you'll have a gateway signage that welcomes you to the park area. Right after that, you'll have a small bridge that'll cross over the detention area. It'll ramp up. There's a fairly significant grade change going from the parking lot up there, so the bridge will kind of ramp in a, I think 3 feet, 4 feet, something like that. Once it gets up to that main plaza area, which will be pavers, the thought was to have areas where you could have bio bricks, things like that, to generate potential money and stuff like that. Small plaza, seawall. Based on the grades, though, there will be some ramping of the walkway. So we have a loop trail on the right side there as you cross over. Right plan view, it'll ramp up about 3 or 4 feet to get up to the grade. And then it just loops around the whole park site. That loop trail is about 0.1 miles, so it's really not that far, but it encompasses the whole site. Along that path, we'll have 2 areas where we'd have picnic tables, a little offshoot of the walkway, and then we also have 3 areas where we'd have a bench area so people can, we call them reading nooks, but someone can sit and read or whatever. So also along the whole path, there would be lighting, so pedestrian scale lighting, and then storyboards. So the storyboards kind of mimic what you have right now at the around the library site. At the far west end of the site is a small play area. We're seeing that as having 2 to 4 play features that are potentially themed with turtles, but we can kind of work through that a little bit. Some of that would be actually movable feature, like moving feature. Some of it might be more of a sculptural feature. So to be determined, but that's kind of the thought. Very small scale, curved playground surfacing, potentially some outcropping boulders, things like that, but pretty low impact. The area connecting into the Kingston Avenue will have a walkway connecting to the sidewalk, but that whole area will also have what we call, it's like a grass paved product is what it's called, but it's reinforced turf. And so it'll look like grass, but it's drivable and it's not going to rut. And so anything you want to have deliveries or whatever, you would have an apron that connects to the roadway, so you can back trucks in, drop off equipment or features and drive off, and you're not running the turf area. Large turf area in the middle, so you can set up for different events. And the far east end there, we also have some berming. We're gonna have to move some dirt, and so we want to try to lose some of that dirt or most of that dirt on site. So finding a place to do that. Throughout the site, we'll add some trees, landscape, native plantings as well. As of now, most of the landscape that's surrounding the site along the perimeter, we're going to try to keep. It's not ideal plant material. I think long term you want to probably remove and replace it in patches, but I don't think we want to try to remove it all at once. It provides a nice screen, kind of encloses the site nicely. So, but eventually you may want to pick off pieces of that. So, and I think that covers everything. So that's the plan. And then the third sheet there is just precedent imagery. What we're kind of seeing these features to look like. Nothing's been fully selected, so if there's something different we want to go with, different colors, that's all through the construction document process. We'll do that. So, but again, native landscaping, bridge, benches, picnic tables, trash cans, site lighting, storyboards, play features.
Craig and Kevin, a lot of this is kind of examples or precedents, and this is stuff that you'll work through, specific items relative to this project.
Correct. Right. And that is so. Any questions?
So just reason for that is really aligning this to, I'll call it construction season, right? And also looking at the grant opportunities. Sure, what are we hearing back from the grant? Is it
So I think they said spring. We're hoping for a little earlier than that.
What's that?
the grant?
The grant.
Oh, we received notice that they were looking at before the holidays.
Oh, before the holidays. Oh,
So
fantastic.
that would be ideal.
Yes.
So, that will help everything, because really what we've laid out here, because this is a, I'll call it, you guys can chime in here, put a number out there and hopefully we're gonna be able to beat it, over deliver type situation. Because right now what we're showing is designing it through Q3 of 2026, we really shouldn't need that amount of time to design this project, right? We're to make sure we're not going too fast but not too slow. The problem is if we're not going to go out and bid in Q1, Q2 of next year, at that point, you really don't want to be paying winter conditions for a park project. They're starting it in October, November. It's just going to be problematic. So it's, can we push this up if we find out earlier about the grant? Yes, I think that would be the goal. So the sooner we hear about the grant, or the library decides we want to go forward with something without the grant, the quicker we can get it done. But we didn't want to overpromise something in the schedule.
Yeah, when we look at that as some of the different elements, yeah, it's really, it's not a complicated construction. It's pretty straightforward elements, but a few of the things have a little bit of a lead time, the bridge, the lights, things like that. So I make sure we account for that. Other than that, most of it's pretty straightforward, not complicated.
So at that point, if everything goes according to plan, and if the board does want to move forward with the project, we'd ask Tara for a formal proposal. We look at that proposal in December, January, that time frame. If that gets approved, then it would take a number of months for design. We'd walk through the design process with you. At that point in time, if we're then to go and we get approval from the board to bid, we go out to bid and we find the right timing. Again, if grant comes in tomorrow and they say you're approved for $500 and some odd $1,000, that'll be up to the board if you want to move quicker or not.
I also want to say, the reason Kevin and Craig are here is because these are the final deliverables from when we initially contracted with Tara. And I know you've all the board have seen these images before because we needed to get a plan in for the grant. So they've seen this, but these are the final designs from our initial contract. So can you talk to us a little bit about what the construction documents would entail? What are we asking of Tara?
Well, I mean, do you guys want to?
Yeah, so
Better
so what you have in front of you is really more of a conceptual, master plan kind of conceptual design. What would go next would be, kind of final design, construction drawings, biddable package drawings. At that point, we're getting very specific on color, on the how it's actually put in the ground, details and all that. So what a contractor would need to actually physically build it. So dimensional layout, all those aspects. Bill of order, for materials, things like that. So plantings, exactly what species, things, the details of a drawing that then a contractor can take and execute the implementation. So
one of the biggest things is making sure that those who've been on the construction projects know this. If you're going out to bid any public project, you need to make sure everything's apples to apples. So you want to make sure you have the same specs. You want to make sure the same warranty, the same materials. So all those details are really key. If you tell the contractors, put pavers here, well, is that paver bed, concrete bed, is it sand, is it, how much thickness of stone below it? All those things factor into the longevity of the project and the cost of the project. That's where we leverage the design team to make sure that it's fitting A, the budget, B, the design intent, and C, the long-term plans of the library. And then we can use it to go out to bid. And then we use that to hold the contractor accountable through contracting. So and I would think in a project like this, you might have a kind of a two-step, right? It's maybe a design development, if we want to call it that.
yeah, there'd be kind of a design development. At this stage, given where we're at, I call it more of a preliminary and final design. preliminary or design development. Kind of gives you the, the level, okay, do we want this turtle to be what color? Do we want it what size? We're kind of picking the details. Then in the final or the construction document, plan specs, now we're really specifying out the how is it attached and all those aspects. The next phase is where we're really saying, do you want a red bench? Do you want a green bench? Do you want a black bench? Picking those, more aesthetic details. And then that final, it's not really a lot of picking. It's really more us putting together the instruction manuals, so to speak, how it's going to be put in the ground.
What we'll need too, so everyone's aware too, when we look at these numbers, there's some engineering that gets involved in this, obviously with the grades and making sure that all works. It's a team effort, so it's not just you two. But
Exactly. Yeah, it would be, our civil engineers, make sure everything's, meeting grade and bouncing earth, stuff like that. Our electrical team making sure the electrical hookups are code and, where the controls are for that. So,
Structural for
for
the bridge abutments.
So I just want the board to understand, like, what we're asking for is, in terms of your proposal, you will lay out like how many meetings
Exactly.
you anticipate
All that
with
would
the
spell,
board.
all that would, proposal for that would spell out all of that, schedule, meetings, reviews, deliverables.
And then there'll be a dollar amount attached to that, and then the board can look at the proposal and see if it meets our needs and go from there, right?
And then with this, just closing up for the deliverable, as Director Weinstein mentioned, we also put together a cost summary that's in the board packet. What we had done is Tara provided a cost estimate for the project. We looked at that. We actually did apply some additional contingencies and things like that, like you've seen for the other projects that we've been involved with, where you have a soft cost contingency or hard cost contingency, the owner's contingencies, things like that are in there. So that's our that's the number that you don't change the whole way through the project. That's what this would be for those who were on for the renovation project. We had set that number way at the beginning and didn't change it all the way through. We just tracked it against that. This would be the number we're checking against all the way through, unless we wanted to make changes. So an example would be in the estimate, there's a $100,000 allowance for gateway signage. Well, if we needed to look at something and try to peel back a little bit somewhere, as we go through this process, is it something that just as maybe a bad example? Do we look at do we want to look at something smaller and maybe it's 50,000 and we're able to save a little bit of money on the 1.25 million? That's the type of decisions that are still out there for the board to make as we go through this.
Is there any provision for strollers or wheelchairs?
So everything will be ADA accessible. So it'll have a slope that wouldn't. That's all accessible. So yeah.
Okay.
What is that slope percentage? Just as or rise run and just as a frame of reference.
1/20 gets you to a point where you don't need handrails. If you want to do a steeper slope, you can go to 1/12, right?
Yeah.
And that's
So
max.
this is 1 to 20-ish.
Yeah. So we're trying to avoid having handrails, actual like physical ramps. But the grade will slope. Yes.
And even the picnic seating, in these images, you probably can't really tell, but they are ADA accessible as well.
Right. So typically, what happens? This picnic table has. You can buy one that's 6 seats in this scenario. This one only has 4 and it has 2 open sides, so a wheelchair can pull up. There's versions that's 5. There's versions it's a 4 seat, and you take out one, it's only 3 seats. So it's same thing. For the benches, the requirement is next to the bench. There's an area that a wheelchair can sit next to the bench. So there's the concrete pad is just extended. So all those are shown right now.
Does anyone have any further questions on LLD or CCS approval? Okay. Then can I have a motion and a second, please?
I move to approve a requested proposal from Terra Engineering for the design and construction administration of the LLD Nature Trail.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Lisle.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Laura Bailey.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Agenda item number 6 is the LLD's annual audit presentation by Dr. Karen.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Loudon. I am an audit manager at Lauterbach and Amon, and I'm here on their behalf tonight to present to you your 2025 annual financial report. I'd like to start this evening by thanking the entire team out here, Tatiana, Jackie, Will. Appreciate all your efforts. It's no easy task getting to this point in the audit process where we're presenting the final report. It takes a lot of hard work, effort, time, and patience, so we appreciate everything on Lauterbach and Amon's behalf. Tonight I'll be presenting to you 3 required pieces of communication by the state of Illinois. The first of those 3 is going to be the SAS 114 letter. I'm not sure if everybody has a copy of the SAS 114 letter. It does not have any sort of header on it. It's just basically a letterhead. It's a pretty short document, so I'm happy to summarize this for you. The SAS 114 letter is issued in accordance with Auditing Standard 114, in which we are required to disclose any disagreements that occurred with management during the course of the audit process. Happy to summarize this for you and state that we did not have any disagreements this year. As I mentioned, short and sweet on that one. Following that, I'm going to get into the annual financial report. It's going to be the largest bound copy that you have. I'll keep things pretty brief and high level this evening. As you can imagine, it's not a page turner by any means, so I'll keep things pretty high level. If I could have everybody start on page 1. Page 1 is the independent auditor's report. This portion of the document has a few different purposes. The first of those is to discuss what management's responsibility is as it relates to the financial statements inside of it. Management's responsibility is to prepare the financial statements that are in front of you today. The next thing it does is discuss what the auditor's responsibility is, which is to generate an opinion on those financial statements. And then the last thing it does is generate your opinion for fiscal year 25, which is unmodified. And this is the cleanest and highest form of assurance that we provide to the library. Following that, if I could have everybody turn to page 4. Page 4 starts your management and discussion and analysis section. I highly recommend spending the majority of your time here. Management spent a lot of time putting this portion of the document together. They did a great job of summarizing key areas from the fiscal year, highlighted some key financial activity. It's in a great narrative form that's a little bit easier to read than the dense financial statements that follow it. So once again, I just recommend spending the majority of your time here. After that, I'll hit on a few key areas in the financial statements. If I could have everybody turn to page 15. Page 15 is your statement of activities, or otherwise known as your government-wide income statement. And in the far right column, 3rd row from the bottom, you'll see your overall change in net position for fiscal year 25 was a decrease of approximately $354,000. Following that, if you could turn to page 18. On page 18, you'll find your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, or otherwise known as your governmental fund income statement. And I'll briefly go through the overall changes. So starting in the left column, 3rd row from the bottom, you'll find your change in fund balance in your general fund was an increase of $381,000 this year. Next column over is your special reserve capital projects fund had a decrease of approximately $190,000 this year. And then in the column after that is your cumulative non-major funds had a decrease of $29,000 this year. After the financial statements, you'll find the notes of the financial statements starting on page 20. I'll briefly go through what each note holds. Note 1 is going to hold a summary of your significant accounting policies. Note 2 holds budgetary information. Note 3 is deposits and investments, capital assets, and long-term debt. And then note 4 is all your other information, which does include your IMRF and OPEB actuarial information. And then following the notes of the financial statements, there's some additional supplemental information that I'm not going to spend any time on this evening. There are some budget to actual figures in the back, as well as some long-term debt to maturity schedules. My email is always open, or I can answer after I conclude my portion of the presentation. I'm always happy to answer any questions you might have if you venture into those portions of the document. Then the last document I'm going to be presenting on this evening is going to be the library's management letter. It's going to be the last packet that you have with the library logo on the front. I do want to preface that our management letter is just a listing of best practice recommendations or any upcoming GASB pronouncements. If you turn a couple pages in, you'll find one current recommendation for the library. I want to preface on this one again, we are distributing this comment to almost all of our clients this year. You'll note that the comment is IT security awareness and monitoring of emerging risks. In this day and age, technology is becoming more and more advanced, and we just want to make sure that all of our clients are aware of the risks that come with that, especially with AI and everything. So we didn't note anything on our end, we're just distributing this to all of our clients. And then the last page of this document, you will find a couple upcoming GASB standards. GASB number 103 for financial reporting model improvements. It does have an implementation date of June 30th, 2026. And then the one following it is GASB number 104 for disclosure of certain capital assets. That does have another implementation date of June 30th, 2026. We'll work alongside the library to determine if they do apply and I'll assist in the implementation if need be. We're still learning about the requirements on those as well, so whenever those come around, we'll make sure to communicate those to the team out here. That'll conclude my portion of the presentation this evening. If you have any questions, I'm all ears. If not, my email is always open as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, go ahead, unless somebody else does.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, we've met with the team multiple times, and the board has had the draft in the board packet. But in your expertise, could you summarize, like, are we in a healthy spot? Are there any flags to, or are we looking in good shape?
Yeah,
I don't want to lead the discussion. I don't want to lead your opinion. I just want the board to feel comfortable with all of this information.
Yeah, and my job is to obviously be independent of you guys, but from my perspective, you're not going over budget in what you're going through each year, as well as your general fund balance once again grew. I know there were a couple decreases across the government-wide level, which we did have a discussion on the deeper meaning of that, but then special reserve, but that's just due to the nature of projects currently ongoing at the library. So nothing of major concern, or we would have brought it up to the team and noted in your management letter as well.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
For your time.
Thank you.
Moving on then. Agenda item number 7 is committee reports. 7A is finance. Any report?
Nope, nothing to
Before
report.
you go on,
Yes.
do we need to move to accept the annual library audit?
We do it in new business under 9.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
So sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you for checking, because chances are I could have. 7B is personnel policy. Any report?
Nothing else, thanks.
Okay. 7C is physical plan. Nothing to report there as well. Okay. Agenda item number 8 is staff reports. 8A is the director's report. Director Weinstein.
Okay, so I'll start with, in my report, I shared that I attended the selection meeting for the next District 42 representative at the College of DuPage. There were 5 candidates, each one gave about a 3-minute speech, then they went into executive session, and then they announced the appointment of Margaret De La Rosa. And then since then, I've reached out to their office, as did another member of our staff who does our social media. We want to make sure we end up on the e-blast like we did with Tara Costa-Howard, Representative Tara Costa-Howard. So we're kind of on the path of forging a relationship with a new district representative. And then the intergovernmental meeting was held here at the library on October 21st. And I just want to say, even though we renovated back in 2023, it's so nice to hear from like all the intergovernmental people how lovely they love the library. They're like, it's so amazing. So that's always nice to hear. As usual, I just summarize what was shared in my report. If you have any questions about any of those summaries, I can try and answer them. But I will move on to staff development day. As usual, it's a full day of informative sessions, and I just want to give a quick recap. We started off with a full-on staff meeting in this room with 50 staff. I introduced the day, then Will had his portion, and all of the department heads talked about updates in their departments. So that was good. And then we conducted all of our drills. We did our fire drill. All of the staff, like we played like there was a fire drill. Everybody had to leave the building and then return. Then we did our tornado drill where all of the staff were in their departments, and then we had the tornado watch, and then we had the tornado warning, and everybody had to skedaddle into the shelter area. And then we did our Code Adam drill where we search for a missing child in the building. And we always search for a little, is it the turtle?
A frog.
Stuffed frog. Yeah, we try to find the stuffed frog in the building, which we do every year. So that was great. Yes. So then after all those drills, we gathered again in this meeting room, and we went over public desk challenges. We watched a video on First Amendment auditors and procedures on how to address those situations. And then we had a visit from the Chicago Hearing Society. 2 representatives came to talk about deaf culture and best ways to communicate with people who are hard of hearing. And it was conducted all in ASL, which was interesting. So that was great. And then next we had Sergeant James Dexter came in from the Lisle Police Department. He talked about active shooter and bomb threat procedures. Took a few question and answer situation. I just want to thank the Lisle PD for sending Sergeant Dexter. He was great, and for taking time to come talk to us. And he made it, I mean, it's a scary topic, but he made it palatable and answered questions without, making people fearful for asking those kind of questions. Then we had Narcan training. As I've mentioned before, both Assistant Director Savage and I are officially trained by DePeach County Health Department, and now we were able to train all staff. So especially since we're going to have a new law in 2026 for public libraries, staff had a chance to touch an expired Narcan, what are they called, diffuser? It's the medication. It's like a nasal spray.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were able to touch it, see it. We still have not implemented how we are going to afford Narcan here, and not in terms of financial, but like just have it. So we're working on that with our department directors, and I will have an update for you in December. So I just wanted to thank the board for the opportunity. We ended the day with a really fun trivia session where we had questions about the library and questions about kind of local features in town. But so it ended off on a happy note. I mean, there was a lot of really good information. As I mentioned, some difficult information, but it really ended off on a fun note for everybody. So just thank you all for letting us have that day. That's great. Yeah, that's good. And then next in my report, I just have a summary of the Chamber and Government Affairs meeting. It's very similar to the intergovernmental meetings I attend on a quarterly basis. The Chamber meetings occur, I don't know if they're monthly or bi-monthly, but they generally occur on a board meeting night. But this one didn't, so I went to it. And Chief Mike Rodriguez, our police chief, was there as a special guest. So I went to that one. And there's just some updates just similar to my intergovernmental summaries. So if you have questions about those, you can ask me and I can try and answer them. And then at the end of my report, there are some additional board communications as I have listed. And then lastly, this is not in my report because this just occurred on Monday. But I want this trustees to know that I attended the Village Joint Review Board meeting at Village Hall. This was just a regular review of the TIFs that are in town. So there's 3 TIFs in town. And what we learned at that meeting is that the UTI TIF, which is the Universal Technical Institute TIF, they, at the Joint Review Board meeting, Mayor Mullen suggested that at the next Village Board meeting, which also occurred on Monday evening, they were going to close that TIF. What that means for us, and they're closing it early because UTI has fulfilled whatever they needed to fulfill. And so they're closing it early, and what that means for us is that property will come back on the tax rolls. So we will see some of those taxes come back to the property taxes come to the library. It won't occur immediately. It will probably occur after a year because there's a lot of legal documentation and loopholes and just tying of threads of the TIF. But probably in 2027, we'll see some property taxes roll in. The other thing of note that was discussed, the agenda was amended to include a discussion about extending the downtown TIF up to 12 years. So there are two choices for this. So the village can extend the TIF up to 12 years, or they can scrap the TIF and begin anew. So to extend the TIF, they need every member of the joint review board to vote yes. If somebody votes no, like whether it's the park district, the library, the fire district, if one member votes no, it means that the village has to redraw the TIF. So, and it also means that it would lengthen the process for the developer. So there was no action item at this TIF meeting, they just talked about it. And there was just a review and an explanation of the extension. I asked about when we would need to vote. So maybe in January, not sure, but they wanted to give every agency at least a month to bring it to the board. And that's not what I'm doing now, I'm just giving you a heads up. So hopefully we'll be receiving more information from the village so that I can forward that to everyone here. I'm not sure if we'll be having a visit from either the mayor or the village manager, maybe, not sure. I'm not sure what their plans are to let everybody know, but I'm sure I'll be receiving something from the village before our December meeting. And then at the December meeting on the agenda, there'll be an action item to vote on the extension or not of the TIF. So more to come. And then just two more things, sorry. Just a reminder about the sexual harassment prevention training module. If you haven't done it yet, please do. I think most of the staff have completed theirs, but we have until the end of the month. And then lastly, I wanted to mention about our 60th anniversary celebration. So very soon, not very soon, but maybe in a week or two, you'll be receiving our new newsletter. And on the very front page is, this is just a draft, but of what we'll be doing on that day. So it's December 12th. It's a Friday evening from 5 to 7. And I'll send more information via email. But it's going to be a fun event. It's basically a Diamond Jubilee. So 60 means Diamond Jubilee. So everything's sparkly and diamondy. We will have a visit from Mayor Mullen is scheduled to come and just say a few words about the library and the impact we have in the community. We'll also have a member from the Lisle Women's Club come and speak because they are our founding body. I've reached out to the friends. I've not heard back yet, but I also know that President Sistek will say a couple of things as well, just a couple words. And then most of the activities will occur here in the meeting room. We'll have some commemorative cupcakes. We're going to have a winter bingo. We're partnering with a business in Lisle, Cricket Arm. They're going to donate some vinyl records from the 60s, 1965, because we were founded in 1965. And so you have the opportunity to win some of those and some other swag from the library. The kids are going to have a diamond scavenger hunt in the youth services department. And then for the first 100 people who come, we are having some specially made canvas tote bags made. So if you come to our celebration, you can receive one of those. A very fancy new logo on it. So lots of fun stuff that's happening. Did I miss anything?
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, so just wanted to put the date out there, but you'll be receiving a lot more information. Social media will be all over the place. We'll have probably a press release in the Daily Herald.
Very great.
Any questions for the director?
I have a couple things. With the TIF extension, why does it have to be extended? Because they haven't started construction yet, or?
So for the downtown TIF, because nothing has occurred, no, tax increment has built up in the TIF fund. So there's like, and I, don't quote me on it, I've asked for the PowerPoint that was presented at Village Hall, we have not received it yet. I will forward that to you, it does give you the information of how much increment has been in that fund, which is like, it's like a few thousand dollars. There's really nothing there. Yeah, so it's really about like, does the property generate, an increase in the property value, and nothing has happened, so there's no property increase.
So then it has to be reevaluated.
Yeah, so they have to reevaluate.
Great. And then my other question was, for personnel and policy, do we need to add the Narcan stuff to the employee handbook? The employees need to
It
do
is,
that?
we can do that, there are other libraries who have like implemented like their own, like not in the handbook, but just like a separate policy, so I'm looking at that. There are some other things on the laundry list of like older policies we could, so like we do, in general, we do like 5 policies at a time, so I've got a list going.
Okay, great.
Any other questions for the director this time? Okay, thank you. Moving on, 8B is the assistant director's report. Assistant Director Sandvik.
Thank you. So my 2 meetings will be a little bit of a rehash. As Tatiana mentioned, we had our we hosted intergovernmental, which allowed me to be in attendance. So I always appreciate being able to participate in those meetings when we are able to host them. And then we also had audit meetings, meetings and emails back and forth with Lauterbach and Amon. I appreciate them taking the time to walk us through as they do every year, and they do a great job. And I always feel like I come out of those meetings learning something new every time. So I appreciate that. A representative from LIRA, so that's our building insurance group, came out to do our annual safety walkthrough. Outside of an errant extension cord that has been remedied and a ladder that had been not properly put away, we are all set. So that was taken care of as we walked through. So I appreciate. I had a busy day that morning. Jackie actually assisted me with the walkthrough there, so thank you to Jackie. Damer Plumbing is we have a fixture that needs replacing in the East Men's Room right here. It is a very specific model that we need, so they need to get it directly from Kohler, which means it is still on a truck somewhere. So it is on the way. As soon as they have it in hand, they'll be out to replace that fixture. One Source was out. We had a few HVAC projects that needed to be taken on as a result of the current HVAC project. And then part of what we had to do was replace a heat pump, which then you have to drain the system. And whenever you turn off old valves that have been turned off for years and years and years, they start leaking once you put water back through. So they came out and cleaned all that up for us and handled that nicely. And then as Mark referenced, we still have BAS issues with IBS. We had a very long meeting that was intended to be training that turned out just to be troubleshooting and list making last Monday. But then since then, a tech has been out starting this Monday, been out all day the past 3 days. I anticipate seeing him again tomorrow. That's all I got.
Thank you. Any questions for the assistant director?
Just gonna say, East Friends back.
Yeah, right. It's always an adventure.
There's a full
guys.
Alright, thank you very much. Moving on to item 9, which is new business. 9A is to accept the annual audit. I have a motion and a second.
I move to accept the annual library audit year ended June 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Okay, Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swister.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Laura Bailey.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. 9B is to adopt ordinance 25-05, the tax levy ordinance. May I have a motion and a second? And then Director Weinstein can provide an explanation.
I move to adopt ordinance 25-05, the tax levy ordinance, an annual ordinance levying taxes for corporate purposes for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
I'll second.
I don't know who got it first.
I don't know either.
Karen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, a motion and a second. Thank you. Director Weinstein.
Okay, so revenue generated by this tax levy ordinance will be received next year. Illinois law mandates that the library cannot levy beyond the amounts appropriated in this year's budget and appropriation ordinance. So for the record, the library's attorney has reviewed the B&A and you all approved it on September 17th. So each line item in the draft shows the B&A amount beside the amount the library intends to levy. So we drafted the levy using that B&A. We used the working budget. We used last year's county's final tax extension document, and then obviously tried to use the most realistic projections for our finances in the future. As we state every year, the library does have a financial plan that recommends annual levy increases using CPI and other relevant variables to determine the reasonable levy we ask for every year. So this year, the Bureau of Labor Statistics posted a general CPI number of 3%. There is no updated CPI for our region, for Naperville, Chicago, Elgin area. I did call the office because on their website they said they would update it in October. They have not done that. She let me know that most of the staff have been furloughed, and so there are some reports that have not been issued yet, and the updates have not occurred. So I included the little blurb that's on the BLS site in my report. And so because the CPI for our area has had some major fluctuations in the past few years, we always keep this in mind when we're thinking about healthcare costs and equipment purchases and technology purchases and things like that. Also, our service providers are adding inflationary costs to their fees, so we just all keep that in mind. And as we heard today with our audit presentation, we're in kind of sound fiscal health in terms of the library. We use pragmatic methods to plan for our services and programs. So I feel like we're in a good shape financially. So with that information, this levy shows what I believe is a reasonable 4% increase from last year's extension. As you know, we're permitted to levy up to 4.99% in compliance with TITA and PTEL. PTEL is the property tax extension law limit. Some people call that 4.99% like the tax to the max type of thing. Mm-hmm. We don't generally do that. We've never done that. What we do is we look at every line item and determine what is best for us. So because of the generalized CPI, because of inflationary and the ups and downs of the economy, we thought 4% made sense for us. In the end, the county will make that final calculation. They're going to use our tax rate, the EAV, CPI, and the levy request to determine that final tax extension number for us. And then just last mention, this document here, as well as the DNA, as you know, our attorney has reviewed, he supports. So with that, staff respectfully recommends that you accept or adopt the tax levy ordinance 25-05 as presented.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
That was great.
With that, does anyone have any further questions for the director before we vote?
How much does the Midwest region usually vary from nationally?
It's not that different, but because they haven't updated it since I think the beginning of summer, I'm including a percentage increase just because you never know. Yeah. We do know that healthcare costs are going to go very high. Yeah. Do you remember, Jackie, the increase for healthcare?
Oh, easily 10%. I mean, it's been going 10% annually. This year, I think was even a little bit more. So, yeah. There's no breaking on this. It's aggressive.
Yep.
Leaps and bounds going on.
Any other questions for the director? Okay, thank you. Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swissair.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Laura Bailey.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. 9C is to approve the certification of compliance with TITA. May I have a motion and a second, and then Director Weinstein will provide an explanation.
I move to approve the annual certificate of compliance with the Truth in Taxation Act.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Director Weinstein?
And this is very simple to explain. We are not levying beyond that 4.99%. That's all that says.
Any questions? All right. Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swister.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Laura Haley.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. 9D is to acknowledge the payment of earned and unused vacation time as required by the Illinois Wage Payment and Collection Act, 820 ILCS 115/5. The payment shall not exceed $458.60 to be paid to Daniel Chavez. And with that, agenda item number 10 is opportunity for trustee comments. Trustee Bryan.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for all your hard work on the audit, and that was, I know, so much everybody has to put in, so great work, thank you. And Vanessa, thank you for the letter, again, that you sent to the village. I learned so much, and it's, a lot to think about, and I really appreciate all that you've done to the research and keeping us informed so that we can make some good decisions or help with the village's decisions. So, yeah. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Larson.
I have nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Bailey.
I was gonna echo what Trustee Bryan is saying. Thank you for the hard work on the audit, and especially to mention thank you to Vanessa thank you for Tatiana for sharing all of the information that you've been sending to the village. Very helpful.
Thank you, Trustee Sullivan.
I had the opportunity to show somebody from Iowa what it's like to have a library that allows you to go in remotely to their databases.
Oh.
Both Consumer Reports and the Trains magazine. So that was pretty fun.
They can't do that in Iowa. Their library doesn't offer it.
Their library does not offer it,
Oh, wow.
so that was pretty cool. Not to be bragged.
Thank you.
That's it.
Trustee Berry.
Yeah, not much. I thank you for reading my crazy long emails. I've had some good discussions with people at the village, so I think we're moving in the right direction.
That's great.
Anything else? Okay. I just wanted to say I really appreciated hearing about what you did on the staff development day. I really like the fact that, again, I know I said this last month, but just that everyone can get together. I know it's the only time that every staff member can be together and see each other, and I really appreciate that. And just hearing about how busy the day it was too.
It was exhausting.
But I'm sure it was exhausting, but I'm really glad that you were able to do that. And then I also wanted to just kind of mention when you talked about being at the chamber event, that one, when you talked about that the police chief mentioned about the part-time social worker that's providing valuable service to the department and is in high demand. And I just wanted to say again, thank you for all of the work that you did. And I feel like you were instrumental in getting this part-time social worker on staff at the police department. So thank you for that.
Thank you. He did mention that at the meeting,
Did
so
he?
it made me feel
Yeah,
great.
that's wonderful. So thank you. And then also I wanted to say that I'm looking forward to the 60th anniversary event of the library, the time in Jubilee in December. That'll be really neat and to celebrate. So that's it. That's all I've got. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone as well. And with that, the last item on the agenda is to adjourn. May I have a motion and a second?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Hey, any discussion on that? Okay, then we are adjourned at 7:54 p.m.